Well, these are shelves that I've not visited with you since I was in the old flat. This has just arrived. I've been thinking about getting this one since I started collecting the Barnes Noble's books, but it's been very expensive. It's been out of print ever since I've started getting these books, and I was just feeling a little bit nervous about spending so much money on a copy, and this one came up new for almost the original asking price. So I had to jump on the occasion, and here it is in my hot little hand. So let's take a little while to discover what they've done here. So we've got this kind of gold motif going all the way around. It's very pretty. Okay. And then there's this embossed picture, and of the with these Barnes and Noble's editions, I really like the embossed ones the most. And this really doesn't disappoint. You really get a sense of the depth of those dunes. It's really nice. And there's this moon in the background with the gold detail there. A little tiny dot of gold on that distant planet or star. I have a confession. I have not read Dune, which is the reason why I wanted this. I figured that it is such a classic. And I was watching Netflix the other day, and my wife and son are away. They're on holiday at the moment, so I got an opportunity to sit down and watch Blade Runner 2049, the new one, the sequel by Denis Villeneuve. And I was sitting there thinking to myself, oh my goodness, this is such a beautiful film, and well, a lot of you watching may already know this. Denis Villeneuve, the director, has been trusted with making Dune a proper version. We've got David Lynch's flawed film, so flawed that I've heard how flawed it is and have avoided it. So I haven't even seen that. I have seen a very dodgy television production with dreadful acting, and it was clearly very, very low budget. This was back in 2004, I guess. So I've seen some of that. It was so awful that I had to stop. But yes, finding out that Denis Villeneuve is going to be directing the theatrical version is great news. He's the director behind The Arrival as well, or Arrival, I think it's called. It's a fantastic science fiction film. If you don't like science fiction, but you are interested in language, if you don't like science fiction because of the violence, whatever it is, this Arrival could actually be the science fiction movie for you. There's hardly any action in it at all. That is another thing, however. If you love science fiction specifically for the action, then it's definitely not for you. It's a philosophical science fiction film, and I strongly recommend it. Yeah, so this is the only illustration other than what's on the cover in the entire book, other than the map right at the back. The font is very nice. It's Yep, it's functional, just like most of the Barnes and Noble's editions. There are no frills. It's no frills on the inside, that is. All the frills are on the outside. Although, you know, it's definitely more than passable. It doesn't feel like low quality. All of the Barnes and Noble's leatherback collector's editions just feel very nice to read. But yes, if you're looking for illustrations, then yeah, this is not the edition for you. I understand that I've been told by people who love this book that it takes a little while to get immersed, but once it happens, it really fully happens. It's a completely engrossing story after the first 5 or 6 chapters, but it does take that little bit of time to kick off. So I'll check that out. Yep. So all the way to the back where there are appendices, and let me show you this. Sorry about this. Strange. Yeah, so that Appendix 3. Oh, I see. So there are several. Oh, I see. All right. So a couple of essays followed by. This is what I was actually trying to get to. So some descriptions of the noble houses and terminology of the Imperium. You know, in a lot of science fiction books, you're kind of dropped in the deep end. Well, there are 2 types, I guess. You're either dropped in the deep end and you're just expected to work out what the weird words mean. And then you've got another type, which a colleague reminded me of today, of course, which is where you are following the point of view of a novice or of someone who's just arrived, so they get the words explained to them. Apparently that's not so in here. The glossary is in the back if any word is too obscure to work out what it could possibly mean. So that could come in handy, at least when beginning to read this. And then there's the map with a few cartographic notes. Okay, in terms of the cover itself, the leather. This is not the same illustration. It seems to be an extension of the illustration that's on the front. Okay, that's very nice that they've got 2 different illustrations there. Super. Yeah, in terms of the leather itself, it's quite a matte leather. I know it looks a little bit shiny there in the light, but yes, if I go and put it back on the shelf, I was hoping to put it there, just between Jules Verne and The Wizard of Oz, and taking out the Arabian Nights, so you'd have a nice rainbow progression there. But the 1001 Nights would not sit next to those at all because of how shiny, how glossy it is. However, this one is kind of a similar matte leather to at least to these. Certainly similar to these 2. And that kind of works quite nicely, actually. It's more of the horror science fiction side, with the keeping this as a children's area. So there we go. That's the new arrival. I hope you enjoyed the video. It was kind of fun for me to revisit an old love of mine. Well, an old love of mine, a book collection that started it all on this channel. Don't forget to leave a thumbs up and to subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks ever so much for watching as always, and see you very soon. Bye bye.